We need to talk about Pep Guardiola. We need to talk about Manchester City. Harry Kane, injured again. Potentially out for the season. This is your Champions League review. Where do we start? Where do we actually start? Because I want to get on about Guardiola. And I want to get to Man City and Spurs. Because that was undoubtedly the biggest game of the night. But let's sort out what happened at Anfield first. A game that everyone expected Liverpool to win comfortably. And a game that the scoreline suggests anyway, Liverpool won pretty comfortably. If anything, I'm slightly surprised it was only 2-0. I've seen some of the game. I was mainly watching the Spurs game. Seen the highlights fully now of the Liverpool game. But it was in the corner of my eye whilst I was watching the big tie of the night. But Liverpool, as expected, started fast, started quick. Naby Keita got the first goal. He looks like he's come into some serious form at the right time of the season for Liverpool in this run-in in two major competitions. First goal, slightly lucky, took a shot. Big deflection, to be fair. Looped over the keeper. But as I say, if you don't buy a ticket, you can't win the raffle. Bought the ticket, won the raffle. 2 goals in a week. And Liverpool 1-0 up after like 5 minutes. Comfortable. Before you know it, good little team move from Liverpool. I think it was it Henderson? Slipped it into Trent Alexander-Arnold down the right wing. Passed it back across the goal. And Firmino was there for his no-look tap-in into the back of the net. 2-0 Liverpool, you're thinking game over, done, tie over probably. It's just going to get worse for Porto. Surprisingly, Porto had some chances. And you might say, Porto should have got an away goal. I'm surprised by it. I didn't think Porto had anything about them. Obviously, it was the tie that everybody wanted. The tie that Liverpool got. Most Liverpool fans weren't afraid to say that it's what they wanted, and rightly so. The way they're playing, the quality of their players they have, it's a game, a tie they should expect to win. But Porto had a couple of chances on the break that their striker should have done better. I think there was one chance where, can't remember the guy's name, but he blazed it over the bar when really he should have just passed it across the goal for a simple tap-in. And that could come back to bite them because Liverpool are a team who can score anywhere. And I expect them to go and score in Portugal. Whether they go and win the game or not is another matter. But once they score, then Porto are going to need 4. And a 4-1 win for Porto, very unlikely against Liverpool. Very, very... Actually, it ain't happening. Ain't happening. Porto can't afford to concede, but I think they will concede. So I think they missed a big, big opportunity in getting an away goal today. But Liverpool will be very happy with that result. There's actually a night where VAR was at the centre of a few decisions. As you know, VAR is being used in the Champions League completely. And so it's always in action. They're checking every decision, every goal, every incident. They're checking it. So it's always gonna, at some point something's gonna crop up. It cropped up in the Man City game. We'll get onto that. But in the Liverpool game, Trent Alexander-Arnold very, very lucky. Liverpool very lucky to get away with a penalty. The ball came up and it was a cross from the right hand side. Alisson slightly flapped at it, pushed it onto, I think he pushed it onto Trent Alexander-Arnold's hand. Kind of misjudged it, hand was up, hit his hand, no penalty. And it surprised me because generally when they check VAR, when they check for handball, when your hand is in a position where it shouldn't be, away from your body, unnatural position, making himself bigger, whatever the case may be. His hand was in a position, he misjudged it. Took a deflection, the ball came and his hand was in the position it shouldn't have been. Yes, it didn't stop a clear goal scoring chance or anything like that. The ball probably would have just hit him and gone out for a corner anyway. But it was a handball. So Porto can feel rightly aggrieved that they didn't get a chance, a clear chance, to get that away goal, which could have proved crucial. But as it was, Liverpool 2-0. And you have to say they got 1 foot in the semi-finals. A semi-final which will be against, of course, either Manchester United or Barcelona, who play tomorrow. But let's get on to the big one. Tottenham Hotspurs against Manchester City. They're in their new ground, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as it's called at the moment. They might need to name it the Heung-min Son Stadium. He got the opening goal in the stadium. He got the first Champions League goal in the stadium. And it was a massive, massive goal. A massive goal in the circumstance. A massive goal considering everything at stake. But we're going to talk about Pep Guardiola first and foremost. What the hell was that team? I thought this man wanted to do a quad. I've been told the quadruple is on. That's what I've been told. The quadruple is on. So I thought Pep Guardiola wanted to do the quadruple. Yes, he said it's unlikely. Fair enough. But he wanted to do it, right? Surely. So what the hell was that team? No De Bruyne. No Sane. Especially with Bernardo Silva out with a slight injury. He's left his most creative player on the bench until the 88th minute. What? I'm so confused. I'm actually so confused. What was actually going through his bald head? Someone explain to me what was going on. Fabian Delph. Where's Danilo? 3 times Champions League winner. In very good form. If Zinchenko's not available, why would you go with Fabian Delph? I know a lot of City fans when the lineup came out, they weren't happy. Gundogan, Fernandinho, David Silva in the middle. Old midfield 3. Quality, yes. But when you're coming against the likes of Sissoko, who for me was the man of the match today, the youthfulness of Harry Winks, Christian Eriksen, Dele Alli, I think you need a bit more than Gundogan, David Silva, and Fernandinho. Did Pep Guardiola go to Tottenham for a draw? It don't make sense to me. Pep doesn't do this. Pep doesn't play for a draw. I don't know what he was thinking. And it came back to bite him. That is the reality. It came back to bite him. Now, 1-0 is not the worst result. They could easily go into Etihad and win, 3-1. But they didn't give themselves the best chance of getting a result. I always felt Spurs will get a result. I thought a score draw. But then as the game unfolded, Spurs could easily have won that game by 2 goals. City were lucky to only leave 1 goal down. That's the honest truth. They were lucky. I would say they're lucky to still be in the tie. No, Spurs didn't create a bag of clear opportunities, but they were comfortably the better side. VAR made a decision. Raheem Sterling ran across the box, took a shot. Danny Rose slid in to make a block. The ball hit his arm as it was up in the air. Gave a penalty. Contentious, you might say. these kind of decisions are going to be given more and more and more, and people are going to have to accept it. It's taking time at the moment because it's very new, but people are going to have to accept it. Penalty, you think, all right, 10 minutes in or whatever it was, 10, 15 minutes, Sergio Aguero to step up, give City the away goal, put them in command of the whole tie so early in the first leg, steps up, and Hugo Lloris saves his third penalty save in 2019. We know he has his faults, but this is what he can produce. Versus, I know what we've seen that he can do the goals that he might give away, but he's a big keeper. And these are the moments that he can give his team. But really, other than that, City barely tested Lloris. I think Sterling had one chance. I would say half chance. It was a clear shot, but it wasn't a clear-cut opportunity. Comfortable save for Lloris. But Spurs were the better side. They dominated Manchester City. And for City, that's 2 games in a row where I would say it's been subpar performances. The Brighton game, they were poor. Luckily for them, they came up against a side, the quality of Brighton, who were unable to take advantage of their lackadaisical performance, really. And today, Spurs, they dominated them. City never got into their passing rhythm. I think the fact that De Bruyne wasn't playing, which was a tactical decision and a big tactical error from Pep, didn't help because they had nobody who could get their foot on the ball and take control and dominate and push Spurs back. Ironically, the one time City then got into the game late in the second half, that was the moment that Son, in the absence of Kane, he took on the mantle as a talisman, picked up the ball on the right hand side, kept the ball just in play, shuffled past or shimmied to the left of Fabian Delph, and a powerful shot past Ederson. Ederson should have saved it. De Gea saves that with his feet. Someone would say, oh yeah, it was at him. Alisson had a shot today which he saved with his feet. Ederson tried to go down with his hands and the ball just went through him. Poor goalkeeping, if I'm honest. But a goal that Spurs richly deserved. But Pep Guardiola, what was he thinking? So he went with a very strange lineup. Mahrez, Gundogan, Fabian Delph, David Silva. Looks like he's gone to play for a draw. And then he doesn't make any substitutions, or any key ones, if it might have been his only, until the 87th minute. De Bruyne and Sane, like, I would have expected either to make that substitution in the second half, but then fair enough, Man City started dominating a bit more. But the moment Son scored that goal, I'm making those substitutions. Because they were warming up for ages. Before that, to be fair, yes, Gabriel Jesus did come on for Sergio Aguero on around the 70th minute. But I would have probably made 2 substitutions at that time. But the moment Son scored, boom, all 3 subs, get us back in this game. A game that we barely deserve anything from. But he didn't. He waited and waited and waited, and City didn't create nothing. Then he finally made substitutions, but it was just too little too late. If we're being completely honest, Pep has to take massive blame for that performance and that result. It's a Champions League. You can't afford to rest up. There's no point in being too clever. You play Spurs on a regular. You know what they're about. You know what you can do and what you've got over them. Tonight, all about Spurs. Pep Guardiola. He hasn't won an away tie in the Champions League since 2011. But he's the best manager alive. Some people say the best of all time. He hasn't won an away tie in the Champions League since 2011. Ironically, that's the last time he's won the Champions League, full stop. 6 wins, 10 draws, 10 losses. I know it's Champions League, it's not easy. It's not. But not to win one in 8 years. Nah. That is actually not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Not for a manager of his caliber. Not for a manager that people have said is the best in the world, one of the best ever. He's one of the best ever. The best in the world. He ain't the best ever. You can't be taken seriously in the Champions League. If you can't win away from home. If you're going to win the Champions League, you have to win away from home. And Man City, have they got aspirations to win the Champions League? Yes, they do, as a club. But you'll hear from some City fans, well, you know what, Crystal Palace on the weekend is more important because we want to win the Premier League. And if that's the mentality you're going with, and you're booing the Champions League anthem and all that kind of negative energy, this is the kind of performance you get. On the flip side, Spurs, new ground, new stadium, packed to the rafters, 50-odd thousand Spurs fans there, chanting from minute 1 to minute 90. And I did say, I think that, you know, people say, oh, new ground blues and you have to adapt to the new stadium. No, the fans are what make your home home. And the fans gave Spurs a massive edge today. Man City, flat, deflated. And if their fans have a mentality of, we don't really care about the Champions League, then in that second leg, they might not give the energy to their players that they need to overturn this deficit. It's only 1-0, but I'm saying it now. If Spurs score first in that second leg, City are out. Quadruple, done. So that's it. First leg, first 2 games, done and dusted. Liverpool, 1 foot in. Man City, 1 foot out.